scenario is here. Stephen Lynn, the head coach for Howard Payne, wants an explanation. The run is going to count. The inning will continue from McMurray. We got a pitching change being made now by Howard Payne. So Jordan Speck will get credit for the RBI. Makes it 8-5. 2 runs scored by McMurray in this inning. And the runner, Gonzalez, advances on over to third. Speck on at first base. He gets credit for the RBI. And a new pitcher now in the ball game for the Yellow Jackets. This appears to be Zach Moseley, a 6'4", 160-pounder junior from Harker Heights, Texas, down in Central Texas. So Xavier Haynes goes 2/3 of an inning. Of course, a lot of that was interrupted when the lights went out. So Zach Moseley now becomes the third pitcher of the night for Howard Payne. And McMurray sees the inning extended after apparently the third base umpire. Okay, I think now that they were talking about what happened, as I recall the play, I think they're going to call some kind of runner interference on the third baseman for Howard Payne. Because I did notice that when Stokes was coming around to score, he had to get out of the third baseman for Howard Payne, and Stokes had to sort of run around him, and then he was thrown out at home plate for what appeared to be the final out of the inning. But I think what the base path umpire ruled was that was a form of interference on the base runner, preventing him from a clean base path. And so the inning is extended for the Warhawks on one of those calls you just don't see called many times. So McMurray scored 2 runs now in this inning. The inning is extended. Pitching change being made by Howard Payne. And it's an 8-5 ball game now. And back to the top of the order, and Robert White. White has got a couple of base hits his last 2 times up. And he's also scored a run and stolen a base. He's also reached on a walk. Back to the top of the order for the Warhawks. Big swing and a miss, strike 1. So McMurray scored 2 runs in this inning. A very rare call of interference on one of the fielders for Howard Payne, keeping the inning going for McMurray. 0-1 the count on Robert White. Runners on the corners, 2 out, 2 runs in. 8-5 ball game. Pitch will be in there for strike 2. So now Moseley just a strike away from putting out the fire here as we play in the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, the McMurray Warhawks give them some credit. They were fighting back in this ball game. Now trailing 8-5. Down to their final 4 outs in this ball game. Moseley, a big tall drink of water out there on the mound. Pitch down in the dirt, ball 1. Good job there by Nowak, the catcher. Well, evidently the Howard Payne coaching staff must have seen the same thing. They weren't real verbose in arguing that call that was made by the base path umpire on what I think was a situation where they called interference on the third baseman, getting in the way of Jordan Speck as he was coming around third trying to score. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch down low, ball 2. Well, the deuces are wild now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out, 2 runs in for McMurray. Robert White at the plate. He's reached base 3 out of 4 times in that leadoff position. A walk and then a couple of base hits. Here's the pitch. This could be a fly ball, right field. Sinking fast, but the right fielder comes on, makes the catch. That's going to be Lewis out there in right field. And so White will fly out to right field to end the bottom of the 8th inning, but not before the Warhawks do score a couple of runs in this ball game to cut the Howard Payne lead. Our new score in the ball game as we go to the top of the 9th is now the Yellow Jackets 8, Warhawks 5. You're watching Warhawk Baseball on McMurraySports.com, a presentation of Taco Bell, First Financial Bank. 3 guys you want up there: Matt Chalk, Tyler Jenkins, and Chris Baker. Batters 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order, as they trail Howard Payne by a score of 8-5. 8 runs on 7 base hits, 1 error for Howard Payne. 5 runs, 10 base hits, 3 errors for McMurray. And Zach Moseley stays in the ball game now. trying to nail down the win for Howard Payne. Now, like I said, both these teams struggling of late. This month of April has not been kind for either one of them, as Howard Payne coming into this 3-game weekend series, having lost 5 of its last 6, and McMurray has lost 5 of its last 6 as well. So somebody's going to come out of this 3-game weekend series feeling better about themselves going into the last 2 weekends of the regular season. Tyler Jenkins will come to the plate. Tyler in this ball game is 1 for 4. Even though he had one of the harder hit balls of the night back in the 5th inning, he really smoked one. But Payne, the second baseman, leaping to his right, made a great catch to rob Tyler Jenkins. I tell you what, there was enough steam on that ball. I think it would have had a great chance to roll deep into the right center field area. And it could have been an RBI opportunity with 2 outs. Instead, it was the final out of the inning, and it snuffed out a McMurray scoring opportunity there in the 5th. They had to settle for only 1 run. Matt Chalk now batting left-handed against the right-handed pitching Zach Moseley. Matt does have an RBI. Also has a double in this ball game. And the first pitch in there for a called strike 1. Chalk struck out his first 2 times up, then had a sacrifice fly RBI in the 5th, and then had a double in the 7th inning, but was stranded at second base. McMurray needs at least 3 runs here to tie the ball game. Pitch down low, ball 1. And the lights have now come back on completely. We stopped for about 5-10 minutes in the bottom of the 8th inning when the Warhawks had that mini rally going. We had a stoppage of play because the lights went out. They eventually found the correct switch, got it fixed, and the lights now back on full strength. Pitch down low, ball 2. Good eye there by Matt Chalk to lay off that one. Chalk with that sacrifice fly RBI in the 5th inning, now tied for the club lead with Tyler Jenkins with 20 RBIs apiece. 2-1 pitch to the plate. This is a fly ball to the gap in right center field. Right fielder going back. That's going to be over everybody's head. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Matt Chalk has got a leadoff double here for McMurray in the 9th inning. Chalk, he really ripped that one. Rolls all the way to the Kiva sign out there in right center field. So Matt Chalk with his second extra base hit in a row for McMurray. He had a double in the 7th inning. He got a double here in the 9th. Tyler Jenkins is the batter now. Jenkins is 1 for 4 officially, although, like I said, he had one of the best hit balls of the night and was robbed by Noah Payne. McMurray, Warhawks with a leadoff double here. Had a leadoff triple by Chris Baker in the 8th inning. Here's a ground ball right side. That's past the first baseman into right field. Chalk with a big turn. They're going to send him. Here comes the throw. It's going to be cut off. Chalk comes in to score. Tyler Jenkins with an RBI that drives in Matt Chalk. Jenkins now with 21 RBIs on the year, and that RBI base hit to right field gives him the team lead again with 21 on the season. Chris Baker comes to the plate. Chris with a big night. He's had extra base hits his last 2 times up. Had a leadoff double in the 6th inning and had a leadoff triple and scored a run in the 8th inning. Still nobody out, a run in. Warhawks trail 8-6. Here's a little pop-up right side. Second baseman into shallow right field makes the catch. And Chris Baker, first pitch swinging, will fly out to Payne in shallow right field. There's the first out. Noah Clarkson comes to the plate now. Clarkson is 0 for 3 in this ball game. Did reach on a walk his last time up. Waiting on deck for McMurray is Peyton Stokes. Clarkson, who had that batting average climb up over to 300 at one point back in March, has seen an inch back down. And this is going to be a fly ball. Second baseman drops the ball. But because Tyler Jenkins thought he was going to make the catch, Jenkins stays at first base. So even though the second baseman, Payne, dropped the ball, Jenkins was still standing at first base, so that was easy pickings for them to throw to the shortstop covering second base for the second out of the inning. So Noah Clarkson with a little flare that bounced off Payne's glove because Jenkins thought it was going to be caught. He stayed put, trying to be very cautious in that situation, but the second baseman dropped the ball, and then they were able to throw to second base to get the out. So now the Warhawks down to their final out. Peyton Stokes at the plate. They're going to say he committed strike one. So Clarkson basically reaching on the fielder's choice. Jenkins out at second base after the RBI base hit. Stokes, the game-tying run at the plate with 2 outs. Down on the count at 0-1. Stokes with a couple of base hits tonight. Swing and a miss. Now the Warhawks are down to the final strike in the ball game. This is the opener of this 3-game weekend series. It will resume at 1 o'clock tomorrow here at Driggers Field with a doubleheader. And, of course, we'll have both games for you here on McMurraySports.com. So if you can't get to Driggers Field, you can keep up with the action here on the Internet. 0-2 pitch to the plate, swing and a miss, and Stokes goes down on strikes. That's the end of the ball game. Our final score, Howard Payne wins it 8-6 over McMurray. 8 runs on 7 base hits, 1 error for the Yellow Jackets, 6 runs